Hello, hello, and welcome to the latest episode. Today, we are talking about prioritizing ourselves and putting ourselves first. We are our most important relationship. How we feel about ourselves, how we treat ourselves, what we say to ourselves, what we give to ourselves, what we allow ourselves to receive shows up in every single area of our life, in every domain in our life. And so we have to learn how to see a relationship with ourselves as our most important relationship. There are multiple different ways that people approach this. There are so many domains that we can look at. We can look at our mental health. We can look at our physical health. We can look at our financial health, our sexual health, our spiritual health, right? And I'm sure there's other domains of health that I haven't listed. And so, what I want to do for today and for the next couple of episodes is really focus and hone in on what does it look like to put ourselves first specifically. Why is it important? Where are the places that we can expect to see change when we do so? What are some examples of it? And also, how might this show up in our relationships where it may apply? Now, let me be clear that focusing on ourselves as our most important person is the answer to any and all of our relationship ills. If we are in a relationship that is really conflictual and we're feeling neglected and we're feeling overwhelmed, learning how to focus on yourself and take care of what makes you feel whole, what makes you feel grounded is the answer. From there, you come from a place of empowerment. You come from a place of clarity. You come from a place of knowing how you can reorient yourself in the relationship, whether or not it's that you were asking for too much from this partnership in ways that was unfair, or you're asking for exactly what it is that you deserve. And so now you're coming from a place of more self assuredness. So now you can ask and expect. And when it doesn't show up the way that you need it to, you can change and pivot. This is also needed when you're in relationships that are amazing. You focusing yourself makes your experience richer. You being your own best friend, knowing how to make yourself happy, make yourself laugh, it makes you more open in the relationship. It makes you able to receive. It makes you able to relax more. It makes it easier for your partner to love you, to add on to the love and fulfillment that you're giving to yourself. It makes it easier for you to navigate conflicts when they arrive because you're already coming from a place of groundedness and wholeness and finding the compromise that fits better for everybody involved. You are your North Star. You are your biggest treasure. And so that's why we're going to focus on this for the next couple of weeks going into the new year because healing starts from within. It starts with our relationship with ourselves, and everything else is a mirror to that. So, as a guide for us to do this, I'm going to be using my loved woman checklist because our goal is to be loved women. Again, being loved women starts from within. It starts with us. It starts with how we see ourselves, how we treat ourselves, and all of that. And so this is a free resource. You can get it by going to blackgirlsheal.org/checklist. You can download it and follow along with me. In this episode, I'm only going to go over a few of them. I plan to go over each of them over the next couple of episodes. I really want us to have time to focus on this so that we don't enter the new year feeling as if we have to do everything. But again, you can get this checklist now. You can mark all the things that you feel like you relate to that apply to you. And then there are some boxes at the end for you to determine what it is that you're going to focus on. Working on one area of your life will connect to every other area of your life and add momentum. It will snowball, it will build because you're starting to feel connectedness, confidence, and it impacts everything. So this checklist actually has 20 items. They are all super practical. If you have worked with me before, if you followed me, as much as I love woo and openness, I'm all for okay. Now, what does that mean? You told me this is what I need to focus on. As much as you can, give me some type of process, give me something tangible to hold on to so that I can apply it to my life. That is what this checklist is. We go over in this checklist items that span your mental health, your emotional health, spiritual health, social, physical, financial, and sexual self care with some practical things for you to do within. Now, I actually tried to record this video before and I tried to kind of bounce around and not go in the order of this list. This list is not in order of importance, it's just in the order that I ended up writing it. And that made me be all confused. So, what I'm going to share are the first few. I'm really excited about the episodes that are gonna be coming after this because that's where we're going to be focused on a lot more body-based items and things that are around our routines and our environments that make us feel rich and whole. And so that's gonna be great for us to build up to, but these are just as important, and it's going to give us reasons to come back and to really study and to focus on this. So if you're not already subscribed here on the YouTube channel, you can subscribe now, turn on the notifications so you don't miss this. And then, of course, you can follow along on the podcast if you're listening to this on the podcast. So let's go ahead and jump on in. All right. So the first item on our loved woman's checklist is having a safe inner circle that makes you laugh and can also be trusted with your innermost thoughts. It is a safe inner circle which makes you laugh and can also be trusted with your most innermost thoughts. Right now, I think we're seeing more and more why community is so important. And that community may have changed in how it looked like before. So, in the past, you may have had a community that was a large social group. Maybe it has whittled down to just a few people. Maybe you have been blessed enough to have joined different social events and communities to where now your friend group is bigger. And now you're sorting through who are going to be the people in my inner circle. Maybe you still have the same inner circle and friends that you've had before, but because of how life is currently set up and what's going on, your availability towards each other has changed. Maybe there are different life circumstances that are keeping you from sharing as much time together. Maybe it is the opposite. Maybe now it looks like more connection. Y'all are at each other's homes more. You're having more social events. You're making more touch points to make sure that you are connecting, that you don't lose each other in the midst of all the chaos. Whatever it is, I'm giving all these different examples of what this community and tribehood and sisterhood and social connection could look like because I want you to know there's not any one right method and mode. When we hear about friendships and social groups, we have examples like living single. We have examples like girlfriends. We have examples like Insecure and so many other shows that show a variation of 2 to 3 to 4 to 6 really close friends, and you're all supposed to be hanging out all the time and showing up at all these places and doing all those things, and that might be what it looks like for some folks, and for some folks, it may be a lot quieter. It may be one person. It may be just a couple of people. It may be a couple people that are spread throughout the country, and you're not in the same city, and that is all okay. We put a lot of pressure on something that can look perfect and look right, and not really enough focus on does this give me what I need emotionally, mentally, spiritually? So let me read this again. A safe inner circle. So are the people that I'm connected to, do they make me feel safe? Am I safe with them? Are they safe with me? Can I share things with them that when I tell them, it is trusted that it's going to stay within them? That they are going to be supportive of me, even if they are truth tellers? Can they tell me truth and kindness because they want the best for me? That is not coming from a place of spite or competitiveness or jealousy, or that they are overly critical as a way of tough love. Do they actually build me up? Am I safe with them as well? Am I available to talk with them? Am I able to hold space for them? Can I give them the same sense of emotional care that they give me in the same sense of emotional nurturance? Whatever package that looks like, that is so valuable and is worth being grateful for and celebrated. So again, a safe inner circle which makes you laugh and can also be trusted with your most innermost thoughts. Now, making you laugh, that is just basically, do I enjoy these people? Do they enjoy me? Do I actually like them? Do they like me back? When I talk about signs of availability, one of the things that I point out as one of the qualifiers is, do I feel like this person actually likes me? Or do they just tolerate me? So many of us can be in relationships because we knew them for a long period of time, because we have history and baggage, because we've been through some things together that we don't notice if it starts to change or if it was like this from the start, that maybe we were with people that didn't always have our best interests at heart. Maybe they don't actually get excited to talk to us because they really like us as people. Maybe they may be people who are more frenemies. Maybe they are people who may have been jealous with how we have progressed through life. And now there is some unknown, unsaid animosity. Versus what it looks like on the healthy side is that when you reach out to them and you text and you talk, it is just nothing but love and connection. It is laughter. It's because they are excited to see your name come through the phone and vice versa. They are excited to, if you're our FaceTime folks, to jump on FaceTime, or if you're voice note people, to send podcasts to each other. You are people that find pleasure in seeing who the other person is in the ways that you are the same and even in ways that you are different. And that adds richness to your life. So, do you enjoy each other? And is it mutual on both sides? And also, the last point about, can they be trusted with your innermost thoughts and vice versa? Trust is so important. I think, especially now, as so many of us are becoming so much more self aware and we are moving past wanting to be superficial with people. Yeah, there may be some people that are acquaintances and that we may spend life with, but I'm seeing more and more people who are tired of just fakeness. They're tired of going through the motions and they want people who are their true companions. And yeah, that might look like life partners, romantic partners that you live with, and maybe you might build a family. Life partnership in that way may be part of it. But as far as companionship, as far as sisterhood, as again, that tribehood, that connection, people are wanting to go deep and build deeper roots there and being a part of a collective. And so, in us doing that, can we trust that if we are vulnerable with these people, that they will hold that with love and with confidence and with security? And can they trust the same from us? When we have that, having that as a firm foundation just makes every other part of our life feel like it is easier to work through because we have someone to talk with, we have someone to celebrate with, we have someone to reflect ideas off of, we have someone to be together and just do nothing with and just sit next to each other and be in our phones and that's enough, or to go and do a pottery class together. But there's variety, right? And there's security in having that chosen and found family. And so investing in that, finding that or nurturing that if you have it, or clearing out the one that you have, if what I've been describing does not add that sense of love and safety and comfort to you, to restructure that would be really great for you to focus on in this new year to prioritize yourself as a loved woman. Okay, point number 2. If you have followed me, here's my disclaimer before I do point number 2. If you have followed me for any amount of time, you've heard me say the second one as well, which is why I was trying to bounce around and do some of the other ones, but it's important. It's important. So I'm going to follow my first mind and what I said, I'm going to follow what's on the list because I know we're building. But every week we're going to build and share some more in-depth and more unique ones. But the next point on the love woman checklist is a set of hobbies that you do regularly for fun that are not connected to your vocation. Say it again. Number 2, to be a loved woman and to invest in yourself and put yourself first in this new year, or just in general, if you're finding me past the new year, is to have a set of hobbies that you do regularly for fun that are not connected to your vocation. So let me tell you why this is on the list. A set of hobbies, that is something that's not unique. We've heard a lot of people talk about go out, get hobbies, do some things for fun. The intention that I have for this though is not just so that you can get out of the house, or if your hobbies are within your home, to do something that is stimulating your mind, to have a talking point in conversation, to add interest to conversations. All those are great, right? All those are ways to make sure that you are living life and that life is not living you, that you are building a time that doesn't feel like it's just lost and you're waiting for the next moment, that you're reclaiming your time. All of that is really important. However, the reason why I have a focus on a set of hobbies that you do regularly for fun, that's not a part of your vacation, is because this is a part of healing our inner child and learning how to do things for pleasure. Pleasure, connecting to our sense of play and pleasure is pivotal to being healed women, to being healed and loved women. So many of us have lost the ability to play just for play's sake, to use our imagination just for imagination's sake, to laugh and giggle and let that be restorative. Let that be something that is just as important as whether or not we hit the gym for 45 minutes a day. Did I laugh today? Did I do something that just made me feel warm inside? Did I do something that made me feel connected to me? Did I do something that made me smile deeply from within? And I was able to hold that smile. I was able to hold that in my body. A lot of us are becoming more aware of our nervous system and how integral that is, and how a part of that is, how much of a part that is to our trauma healing, to connecting to our inner children, right? To being grounded and leaving all the stress and the high cortisol and all the other things behind so that we can actually have lives that are not only meaningful, but that we can connect and feel grounded in our everyday. And so part of healing our nervous system is being able to connect to that play and pleasure, is being able to rest, is to not be in that fight or flight mode, to not always be doing. So a lot of us may have hobbies, but we try to multitask, right? So we're doing it because it is going to help us in our jobs. So it's not really just because it makes us express something that feels good to us, is because it's going to help check off something for a further achievement or for an accolade or something. So the hobby or the play is actually work. But when I talk about hobbies and when I talk about things for people to do for fun, I often say, would the 6-year-old version of you want to do this? Think about, what did the 6-year-old version of you love to do? Did they love to dance around in circles for no reason? Did they like to color? Did they like to draw? Did they get an opportunity to do that? Or was life so stressful? Or were their family or caregivers so critical and so overbearing that they actually didn't get to play for play's sake? Did they play sports, but they played sports because their parents said, you're going to be a track star, you're going to be a basketball star, you're going to be Division 1, you're going to follow in my footsteps? Was their play actually work? And if that 6-year-old had a chance to do what they actually wanted to do, what would they have done? Do they like to read? Where do they always want to read? Were they forced to read in their room all the time? Do they want to go out and read maybe at the park under some big trees? Do they want to go and just sit at the beach and look at the waves or look at the clouds? What did that 6-year-old always want to do for pleasure? What gift could you give her the opportunity to do today? Knowing how to pursue play and pleasure and fun and hobbies and do that regularly is going to help heal yourself, heal your nervous system, find a place of balance so that you can actually feel rested at the end of the day. So many of us will have days off, we'll do vacations, we'll sleep in, we'll do all these things that are supposed to feel restorative, but we still feel tired at the end of it. I can't tell you how many people have gone through burnout cycles and they do all the things that they're supposed to do during their time off and they still don't feel any different on the other side of it, because the way that you heal yourself is in the everyday. Is this an everyday practice? Doing these things takes time because these are learned habits where it could be hard for us to learn how to play and how to rest and how to do things for just because. It can go the opposite of everything that we've been taught, especially as Black women, where we have been taught to achieve. We've been taught to be purposeful. We've been taught to have bragging rights to show how many things that we can do and how many things we can put in our to-do list and how many things that we have accomplished over the year. And all those things are fun and they're great. But if at the end of the day, you have all these things and you have all the things marked off, but you still don't feel the happiness that that stuff was supposed to give you, that means that there's a block in your nervous system. That doesn't mean that you get one more thing, one more place on your passport checked off, one more relationship that you get the ring. You will get all of these things and still be like, what's next? Because you have not learned in your everyday moments how to find connection to your own peace and pleasure and feel grounded. And so we're going to talk more about what that looks like in the rest of the checklist, but this is one component of it. Can I have and do I have a set of hobbies that I can do regularly for fun that's not connected to my vocation? And it could be one thing. It doesn't have to be a million things. I know many of us are busy with so many things in our life, so many things that require our focus, so many feelings that we may be going through. Some of us had the best year of our life. Some of us have had the most horrible year of our life. And so there's a lot of recovery that's been going on. But this is how you prioritize you in the midst of all of it, finding where can I find little bits and bobs and moments where I can just smile for no reason. And that is okay. That is just as important as whether or not I folded up the laundry. Okay. The third thing on the Love Woman checklist is an evening wind down routine. So one thing that I've been working on very hard is my sleep hygiene. And this is just heads up, sleep hygiene stuff is going to come up later on the checklist. But for me, I have been working on my sleep hygiene for a long time. An evening wind down routine, a way of coming to close at the end of the night, has definitely been a part of it. As someone who is really trying to prioritize a balanced nervous system, feeling grounded, when you have a balanced nervous system that helps you with not only your own personal conflicts or stressors that happen throughout the day, you're able to navigate them without it completely flooding your nervous system or making you feel stronger emotional cues to something. That fight or flight response is not as strong as it would have been. That play and pleasure I was just able to talk about, you're able to slip into resting and relaxing a lot easier when it's time to rest and relax. It's all connected. And so your evening time is a time that your body sets, your body is built to heal and recover physically so that you can have a good next day, have a productive next day, have a pleasurable next day. So the evening wind down routine looking like, am I able to take some deep breaths? I don't know about you, but my days are super full. So an evening wind down routine does not need to be a 10-step process. Chances are, if you are super tired, you're not going to do it. It's going to be very hard for you to do. In fact, for some of us, all we may have energy for is just our skincare routine at the end of the night, and don't ask me to do nothing else. And so, making it easy for us. How easy can we make taking care of ourselves? How easy and restorative can it be for us to slip into this really magical part of our night that is meant for us to feel better and rested on the other side of it. So, can it be my skincare routine and that I just make sure I do 5 deep breaths before I go to sleep? Can I do what some people call morning pages? Can I do them as evening pages before I go to sleep? I have done this. So, I will say that I've done this at the time that I'm recording this maybe a handful of times. I have other things that I do as part of my sleep routine, but I've done this a handful of times because once I'm in bed, I'm lucky enough to where I can fall asleep very quickly. It's sometimes staying asleep that is the issue for me. So, but I've done evening pages and I'm someone who is constantly thinking. I think and I think and I think and I think and I think, and I'm always thinking about my thinking, right? And so the times I've done evening pages and just written out whatever it is that I've had in my mind before I went to sleep have been the nights that I've had the best sleep. I am always surprised about how I can fill up those pages with so many things. I just realized some people may not even know what evening pages are, what morning pages are. So it is the practice of going 2 to 3 pages. Some people say two, some people say three, and you do not allow your pen or pencil to leave the paper until you have filled those 2 or 3 pages. And you're just doing stream of consciousness. What is on your brain? What are you thinking about? So even if what you're thinking about is, I don't even know what else I'm going to write because I'm just doing this morning pages because they told me this is going to help me with my day and getting things out. This is so silly. You literally write out everything that's in your brain, and you will be surprised about how relieving that is, about how these things that may have been circulating in your mind and maybe causing stress and making you feel overwhelmed, putting them out on paper gets them out of your brain. You think that, "Ugh, I don't need to journal. I tried to journal before, and when I tried to journal, it felt like more work. It felt like I was having to write a story, which is how I felt about keeping diaries before. I grew up in the 90s. And so I grew up in the time where there was tons of teenage and coming of age stories and everybody had a diary. In the world of Nickelodeon, Disney, and She's All That and all those things, everybody had a diary. So I would try to do diaries, and diaries sucks for me. I hated diaries. But doing a stream of consciousness where there is no plan and me just writing out what is on my mind has helped clear it, and it has been so helpful for me. So finding what is that evening wind down routine for yourself. Maybe it's just having a cup of tea before you go to bed. Maybe it is reading your favorite self-help book, or maybe there is a type of genre that doesn't impact your dreams. It actually feels comforting for you. Visualizing what you want, what your next day to look like before you go to sleep, or just something that signals to your body every night that this is how we close out. This is how we slow down. This is how we find moments for ourselves as we prepare to rest and restore for the next day. All right. And the last point that I'll share today for our Love Woman checklist, this is 4 out of 20. So there is a lot more here on this list. But the last one that I'll share that is in order of the checklist is our morning startup routine. A morning startup routine is important for us to find balance throughout the day. Now, here's where I'm going to admit that I have some bias because I am a morning person. I am someone who waking up early has never been an issue for me. In fact, sleeping late is more of an issue for me. And I know I'm not alone. I've heard other people who are like to say, if I sleep past 7 o'clock, I get a headache. And I've been like that since I was younger. I was never someone who could do all nighters at school. I tried my best to do it, but it just didn't work out for me. So waking up early is always when I have naturally had more energy and more focus and felt like I could do a lot more and it not be a burden to me. So with that said, morning routines fit really well for me, especially ones that might have more than one step to them. However, I know that's not the case for everybody. And so I hear a lot more people who criticize the 5 a.m. routine. And I actually agree with a lot of that. I think a lot of teaching around morning routine are just repackaged perfectionism, And when we have repackaged perfectionism, it is a very helpful tool to start to blame us for why the rest of the day may go wrong or not be exactly where we want it to be, or just whatever our perspective is. If we feel like we have to do something to make our day be better or to get a certain result, then we can use something like a morning routine that's supposed to be a way of easing into our day. It's supposed to be something that's beautiful. When we think about the morning, when we think about the sun rising every morning for us, it is another time of restoration. It is like when the winter ends and the spring comes and now there's bloom. Now there's chance for us to make the day be something amazing, make it be beautiful. We have a chance for life. It is something that is magical. It is something that's inspiring. When I think about the sunlight, when I think about just the beauty of the clouds, when I think about the air blowing, that is something that should be healing and exciting for me. It should be something that I look forward to and aspire to engaging in for the rest of the day. But if as soon as I wake up in the morning, it means I have to do this regimented routine, this marine block setup of self-care and self-love for me to feel good enough, for me to feel empowered. I'm working. Now I'm working. I just opened my eyes and now I've been put to work. And so with that said, I am in support of people who have criticisms of morning routine startups or startup morning routines that are built with that type of energy, because I don't believe that it has to be that hard. I believe that we can pick things in the morning, whether or not we're morning people or whether or not we're not morning people. If you could trade in having 2 hours to do a morning coffee and do a morning walk and everything to give you more sleep, then I think that's what you should prioritize. But I do think having some type of ritual to say hello to the day, to say hello to yourself, to say hello to your spirit, to say hello to grounding yourself in your body so that you feel connected to yourself and you're not ripping and running the whole day. And then you look back and you're like, man, did I eat today? Did I even do what I wanted to do? It's 5 o'clock and I don't realize where the time went. And you're constantly living in a place of distraction. Can I start my day claiming it as my own, having an intention for myself, or doing something that makes me feel good as I go into the day? So, is it as simple as, can you put your hand on your chest, hand on your heart, take a couple deep breaths and just say, thank you? Can you start your day before you even get out of bed with your hand on your heart, with some deep breaths, feeling what it feels like for the air to move from the top of your head down through your toes, feeling what it feels like to have your body cuddled and nuzzled up under your blankets or on top of your blankets if you run hot and you got the fan on. But feeling what you feel in your body while you're taking those deep breaths, and just saying thank you. And that thank you being to whoever it needs to be to, that thank you being to God, that thank you being to your ancestors, your thank you being to your inner self or to your higher self, your thank you being to the memory of your mother or your grandmother. But thank you. Thank you for this day. Thank you to the universe. Thank you to Allah. Thank you for just being here, right? Thank you to myself for being here. Like Snoop says, I want to thank me, right? So thank me for showing up today. Can you do that? So that is the most simplest version of the day. And then from there, we can add on whether or not it's your morning coffee, your morning tea, if you do morning devotionals, if you do morning pages, like I've already described, if you do meditation, if you do some balancing of your chakras, if you do morning stretching, if you do a morning walk, if you do your own version of your morning skin routine as you wake up from the day. Whatever it may be, having something that helps you ease into this day, setting intentions, doing mirror work, do something that is connected to bringing in you into this process, helping you be connected to all the abundant energy and hope that is available for you today, and taking from that instead of you running on empty. That is going to help you be connected as a loved woman to yourself. So those are the 4 for today. That is enough for today. That's already a lot. We'll be going over this full checklist over the next couple of episodes. So let me know if you enjoyed it. Send me a message. If you're watching on YouTube, comment below. Let me know which one of these was your favorite and which one you would like to focus on maybe over this week. I'm all for just taking a tiny step and that starts to create some muscle memory. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but just what's the point that you would like to focus on this week? Or if you have all these on lock and they already work for you, let me know that below as well. If you're watching this on YouTube and if you're listening to this on the podcast, you can send me a message or a DM and let me know there as well if this episode resonated with you. And if you're on a mailing list, you can go ahead and reply to the email that talks about this episode and let me know there as well. So that's it for now. You can get this full checklist right now by going to blackgirlsheal.org/checklist and download your own copy. Print it out. It's also a PDF fillable version, so you can check all the little boxes off on your own and add everything up on the end. So I hope that you enjoy it. That's it for now. Love you all, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care of yourselves.